Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Krisjan Radio, coming from here in my living room of all places. I've never. It's funny. I've recorded like so much live music and other stuff right here.
Yeah.
But I've never been recorded in here. Other like a little bit of live music stuff, but not a ton. But I'm joined today by Vance Lichtenberger with MidCentury Homes here in Boise.
Yeah, thank you a bunch for having us. Super stoked to share
Man.
The story.
For sure, yeah, and that's exactly what I want to do, man. I want to kind of hear. You know, we're neighbors now, which is fun. Vance lives, 12 houses away?
Oh, if that.
Probably not even that.
I could probably throw a rock and hit you.
Right, yeah. A well hit 9-iron and you can probably get to your house.
Easy.
But yeah, so I kind of want to hear your story. You know, obviously you're into real estate, working with TJ at MidCentury Homes. So start from the beginning, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Boise, Idaho, born and raised here. I'm 30. There's not many of us, you know?
There aren't.
A lot of people have immigrated or whatever you want to call it over the years, but I'm happy and so proud to say that I'm totally local.
Yeah, so you're full on born and raised in Boise.
Oh yeah, born in St. Luke's downtown.
Nice. So was I. So
cool.
I'm also a Boise kid. We moved around a little bit when I was a kid. But I was born here, went to almost all of school here, went to Boise State.
Same.
Left a little bit, because everybody that grows up in Boise that's kind of the thing with Boise is you have to leave in order to really understand how good it is, right?
Oh man, I left for about 6 months and now I could not come back quicker.
Nice, that's funny. When you left, where'd you go?
I went to Utah State.
Nice.
Great school, just not the one for me.
Right. And Logan's a weird little.
Yeah.
You gotta really be into that.
I'm a tan skinned guy. I need some sun. I need some humidity.
Dude, totally.
It was not working. Plus, it was like $8,000 a semester.
Yeah.
I was going there initially for interior design because I've always loved MidCentury stuff. So,
nice.
After that deal, kind of. Challenged me. I was like, I'm just going to go back to BSU, kind of figure it out again. Yeah. And then from there, I realized I really love business. I love business building, entrepreneurship. It's all super fun.
Rad.
So I was watching Mad Men one day because MidCentury.
As we all did. Yeah. Like, fuck, that's really cool. Like, I wish my office looked like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm watching the show. The dude's doing a pitch, and I'm like, this is where I need to be. It's because the aspect of marketing is so psychological, and I was thinking about becoming a psych major at one point, and I was like, I just don't know how I can apply that to scale.
Sure. Dude, that's such a good point because I studied communication and marketing. And that's exactly what it was. All the the psychology surrounding how you convince people to do stuff and why they do it, and all the messaging in the media and everywhere around, like what do these books really mean, and even like film, like what does the stuff in this film really mean? And so many people that dig that, I mean, to your point, go get a psych degree or whatever, and then then what do you do? Become a psych teacher or whatever?
Yeah, I mean that, or become a therapist.
Exactly.
And,
thank you. I'm so glad there's people in the world that can do that. I'm not one of those people. It's like being a nurse. Like, I'm so glad there's people that can do that.
Definitely.
Dude, if you, I see a little bit of blood and I kind of pass out. So I'm so glad that there's people that can do that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I've got my own problems, and that's that's already too many.
Exactly. So back at Boise State.
Oh yeah. So went to Logan, came back real quick. BSU was awesome. I double majored, actually, one in business management and in marketing also.
Nice.
Right from my college career ending, I was a partner at a furniture store for 4 years or so.
Nice.
And so from there, it was awesome because I really got to apply all this stuff that I just learned about.
Totally.
In this growing digital age, I heavily focused on our inventory, efficiencies, and digital marketing.
Nice.
That's really where I lived.
Rad.
So in 1 year, we had about 43% growth, and it was which was heavy, right? So,
sure.
And we did that with only hiring one person.
Nice.
So it was great. Kept costs real low, and made a bunch more revenue. So that was awesome. At that same time, now we're going to start jumping into the real estate side of stuff. TJ, he's the owner of MidCentury Homes, our company. We're 5 years old.
Yep.
He kind of takes notice of what I'm doing digitally, because at this time, Facebook businesses and Instagram for business did not exist.
Totally,
no one was doing it. There were no, Coca-Cola didn't have an Instagram.
Right.
But our company was starting to actually sell stuff on Instagram, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this dumb idea I had is actually working.
It's actually working.
Yeah. So TJ kind of took notice of that, what we were doing there, and he was like, hey, let's just go grab some coffee. And then him and I just started hanging out, maybe once a quarter. We'd go grab coffee and talk about the the algorithm change because, every 3 to 6 months there's some huge huge change. So we get together, talk about what we're doing, what the future looks like, what last month looked like, and things like that. So maybe a year goes by. It's maybe 2016 or 17 at this point. And it's like November or something, and TJ's like, hey, do you want to join my real estate team? And I was like, no, not at all.
I kind of don't, man, yeah.
The way that I saw real estate being performed from a business perspective, I just had zero interest in. Like, sure. I never want a cold call. I don't want to door knock. I don't want to
wear a gold jacket?
I don't want to even wear a suit. Like, I wear hats a lot of my days.
Dude, exactly.
I like it. Like, right? This is me. That's comfortable. Absolutely. And so I kind of like told him that, and he's like, well, like, let's just go grab like some lunch. I'll explain to you from a business perspective how our model is completely different than any other real estate model potentially in the US.
Sure.
And it was kind of funny because he would reference the company, he'd say we, even though it was literally just him.
It was just him with that.
Yeah, point. It's like
that's cool.
Him and these alter egos maybe, but yeah. So
I've gotten to know a few of TJ's alter egos over
Yeah. So yeah, we got some lunch and stuff, and he explained to me, and seriously from then, I just total mind change. I really could see how what we're doing and building has absolutely gigantic growth. The ceiling is so tall.
Totally.
And the scalability of a real estate company is almost impossible. Costs are essentially pretty low. It's mostly a variable cost structure. So you only incur more costs as you incur more business. So it's really just a net gain.
Which is nice, because in most businesses, to scale and grow, you got to hire a bunch of people, buy a bunch of stuff, lease space, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so expensive to do, but in real estate, pretty dang low. You just hire more new fits.
Sure. Interesting.
So that's really where we are. And from that point, I jumped into real estate school in January of that coming year. That was like the most spontaneous decision I've ever made in my life.
How did you do it? Did you do it like the 2 solid weeks, or did you?
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah, it was nice to just knock out super quick and be done.
Not drag it out over like 3 months. Yeah, or whatever. Dude, that sounds awful.
Oh yeah, like every night for like 4 hours or something. No, thank you.
Yeah, for months, no way.
Yeah, so yeah, I went in super quick, really easy. Jumped in, and from that point there were 4 of us total on the team, and as of last week we just hired on our 12th.
Oh, crazy.
So
12?
Yeah, 12.
I didn't realize you guys had grown that much, man. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, this year's been insane. I think we've had 6 come on this year.
Crazy.
So we have 6
in 2020, 6 people.
Yes.
Crazy.
Or maybe like 19.
Yeah, sure. In the last year or whatever.
So it's been incredible. So now awesome. I get to be a little bit more on the leadership end, which I love. I love the business building, leadership side of everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, really helping each other. At the end of the day, we're a team.
Sure.
So we're all just kind of in this communal pot, helping each other out, become better, understand the business better. And just keep building.
That's awesome. So as you're up against that, what as you're growing this biz, what do you think is the biggest barrier to you guys to growing, or the hardest thing to deal with on the
hardest, the biggest barrier / hardest thing is when a cool mid-century home lists that doesn't use us. It's such a bummer.
Right.
The capabilities of what we're doing.
Well, so that begs the question: why would somebody not use you guys? Why? Like, what are those objections?
Typically, it's like, okay, my mom's a realtor. Sure. I get that.
Yeah,
my friend.
Of course, you're gonna use your mom.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
that's totally
fine.
Typically, they just haven't heard about us yet.
Okay.
There's 11,000 total mid-century homes in Boise.
Okay.
That is way more than we can touch in a given period.
Sure.
It's going to take a long time for people to see our name and know who we are and have that recognition. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that growth, and when those years come, it'll be really exciting.
Yeah. And so you said you guys are 5 years in?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep, we're in our 5th year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my experience building a business, so when Will and I started Stackout Group, it was just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
It's a landscape architecture firm. I'm not a landscape architect. I'm a marketer. And so when we started, people thought people thought we were out of our minds crazy.
Yeah.
Even my parents, like, dude, why in the fuck would you start a landscape architecture firm? Like, people need that? Like, that's a thing? I'm like, I think, my buddy Will's a landscape architect. I think it's a thing. Like, we're gonna do this thing.
So.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I think we've got a good plan. I think we're gonna do this thing. And it seems like right around, and when we started, we had some, relationships in the industry and knew some people and stuff, but it took a long time, like you said, for people to, recognize us, know our name, know our biz. And it seems like it was not too long between that 5 and 6 year period where all of a sudden, like, we're known now.
Yeah.
Like that. So for you guys, I'm sure I would think that if your business like ours, and I'm sure it's, you know, pretty similar, that this, you know, end of this year, first and next, like, I think you guys are going to see, just because of the time, and I know how hard you guys hustle, you guys, I think, are going to see a big, like, change and shift, and, you know, and people really knowing that you guys are doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, if you're wrong, I know where you live.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
I'll come get you.
And I mean, you guys are doing all the right things. I mean, like we talked about, you know, I mean, obviously you guys are big on social media, which especially right now, like,
super important.
So important right now. Like when, like for me, like, historically, like, my life was like going, you know, meeting with people at their office, and, you know, going, you know, meeting with people face to face, you know, architects and developers, and, you know, even homeowners and people. Like, that's not happening so much right now. It is some, but not nearly like it was. Like, all the associations and all the stuff that I'm super involved with, like, yeah, that's not happening. And luckily for us, like, I've been building our social media for a long, long time, and so we have that to fall back on. And I've totally seen the last, you know, it's the middle or the 1st of August right now, since, you know, this whole thing kind of kicked off in March. All of, like, every competitor, like, all of a sudden has an Instagram account that they've posted twice to now.
Yes,
and they're probably sitting around like, whoa, fuck, yeah, social media doesn't work, or whatever. Like, I posted 2 times, I sent 1 tweet and the phone didn't ring.
Yeah.
You know, so luckily for us, like we
gosh.
had that, you know, that history of social media to you know, to kind of fall back on. Because it's crazy the amount of, like, I get DMs to our Stackout Group and to my personal Instagram multiple times a day. People in Boise, in Salt Lake, in Florida, in Southern California, all over the place wanting us to design stuff for them. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about the importance of just social media marketing for like an hour by itself.
Oh, dude.
It is like
totally.
it is potentially the most important thing you could be doing, especially right now.
100%, man. I totally agree.
Especially right now, and always to far future, forever.
Yeah, I don't know how or why that would change. I mean, the only way that's going to change is going to be the next big social media that comes around. So speaking of, are you guys on TikTok? Do you have a MidCentury home TikTok?
No, but we've been talking about it for like 3 months.
Right. And now you're like, fuck, it's too late. We should have done it already.
Yeah, I know.
Same, dude. Same.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a channel that we're likely potentially going to miss, but we just didn't have the proper people to run the channel. That was the problem.
Dude, exactly.
Like, we needed someone who thought TikTok was the coolest thing in the world. Like, just go have fun. Go do it. Figure it out.
Yeah,
don't
go.
Yeah,
totally.
but we couldn't find that person. Yep. A couple of weeks ago, TJ posted a something on Facebook about needing a person to jump onto the team just to do like TikTok and like explore new channels like that. We haven't been able to find anybody, so that's a
tough thing to find, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's on social media, and I hear this all the time from, you know, friends and clients, and, you know, people that, you know, kind of aren't into social media, but, you know, sort of understand it's good, but at the same time think it's this super simple thing that anybody can do.
Yeah.
You know, until you start doing it, like, nobody understands, unless you do it a lot, like, how much time really goes into it.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
every Instagram post, I mean, that's a blog. Like, I mean, if you're doing it right, it's a good image, it's thought out, you're, you know, sending it at the right time, your text and everything's gonna be good, and to do that takes time. It's not just, oh shit, I haven't posted in a couple days. Like, I should post something real quick. Like, that's not how it works. Yeah, like for your personal stuff, it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
no.
If you're trying to build a biz around it, that's not how it works.
Proper hashtags, proper timing.
Exactly.
There's so many other it's like an iceberg. I mean, you see the picture, you see the post, but like, there's so many things and steps underneath that go into a successful post.
Yeah.
That if you do incorrectly, it's just going to fail.
Yeah.
Now it is a waste of time.
And then you wasted your time.
And now social media doesn't work for you.
Right. So everybody says, and I'd love to know your opinion on this. Everybody says that like conventional wisdom is don't post anything on Sundays because it doesn't matter. Some of my most successful shit is on Sundays.
I swear by literally 8:07 p.m. on Instagram any night. Yeah. You can be successful. If you post it other times, I mean, who knows? But
100%.
I just, for some reason, 8:07, I swear by that.
Interesting. Yeah, which is so crazy because, like, who else is like into the minutia of it like that far to 8:07?
I posted at 8:08 once and it just flopped. Posted at 8:06, same thing. And I was like,
rad.
Why is 8:07 the one?
Super funny. So you're a born and bred Boise kid.
Yep.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to Eagle.
Eagle High School.
Yeah, back in the day. We were not rich though. I just want to qualify that. We weren't the
You were the only one?
We weren't the people who moved there to get like the huge house and like nice stuff. We moved there back in like 96 when it was still like farm, stoplights. There was like
in 96, 96 Eagle, because that school started in what, 95, 96?
I think it was like 90. Yeah, it was like
because I graduated from Centennial in 97. And so I want to say it was probably 94 or 95, because I had a bunch of kids that were in my class as a freshman that weren't there, juniors and seniors. So it was probably, right in there, 94, 95 somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really small at the time. I thought it was fun. Eagle was all right.
Totally. Yeah, I had a ton of fun, a ton of friends that went there. We, grew up, playing baseball, football and stuff together. Totally.
Well, that's kind of a weird time of, life to lose a bunch of classmates.
Right. So, kids that I had gone through school a ton with. Yeah. All of a sudden, went to this new school, this new, shiny, fancy school.
Yep.
Which, some of them, went over there because they just wanted to, because it was new and shiny. Yeah. Some of them did, because they lived out there, or closer. They did to Centennial. But it was kind of weird though when it happened for sure.
Can I explain what I meant when I said TJ explained to me the business model?
Please,
and
absolutely.
How it's different?
100%.
This is a huge value proposition. That if I miss, I will not hear the end of it. So
if we need to edit this so it looks like you said this first, we can totally do that.
Okay, so
is TJ going to listen to this and scrutinize over every single thing you say?
No. Okay, so when it comes to what we do, we're super niche focused.
Absolutely.
And from an entrepreneurial perspective, that's terrifying, right? Because you're excluding a huge group of people, potentially 80% of people.
Sure. But from a marketing perspective, it's fucking genius.
It's awesome. It's so much easier because now your target market is this big. It's small. I'm gesturing.
Sure. I mean, if you're a realtor, look, everybody has a house. Everybody needs a house. My market's everybody. Cool. Exactly. How do you reach everybody? You don't.
You can't.
You don't.
So and to that same point, we know exactly where these people live. We know the ages of their homes. We know how these homes work to live in.
Sure.
So what we're trying to do really is just be the best resource we can be for anyone who wants to buy, sell, or own a mid-century home. Because the buying and selling process that lasts 1 to 2 months maybe, but you're going to live in that thing for 20 years. Hopefully. And if you don't have a resource that's going to back you up when you have to remodel this or need a plumber for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of just like a duck hoping for the best out in the big pond.
Totally.
So that's really what we're trying to do. And from that same point, being so niche focused, we know our clients really well.
Sure.
We know, the typical jobs they have. They're more usually the creative people, open-minded people,
100%.
Really cool people though.
I was just gonna make a bunch of silly jokes about stuff that I'm not gonna make.
Okay, thank you. So that has been extremely helpful when it comes to building the business because now we're able to create content with those people in mind, right? Because when anyone out there, whenever your business is going to create content or even speak to your target customer, if you don't do it in the proper way, you're not going to have any sort of resonance with them in the future.
100%.
So the fact that our target market is so small, it allows us to go really deep in that channel with them.
Yeah. Which makes creating that content super easy.
Yeah.
We don't have to think about who do we talk to today? How do we even whatever. Yeah, you know exactly what you're trying to do.
No, honestly, all of our posts for the most part are just us living our lives and taking a second to notice what's around.
100%.
I mean, we are our own clients,
absolutely,
and target audience.
And that's and that's the best social media. And I've people ask me all the time about social media and how to do stuff. And I always kind of fall back on Gary Vaynerchuk, document, don't create. If you just document what's going on around you, document your work, document what you're working on, who your clients are, who you're working with in your office. You don't have to think about creating content. You're just documenting what you're doing.
Exactly. And then I think that speaks to this point too, is authenticity.
Totally.
Because we're literally all 12 of us on the team would die for mid-century architecture. We think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yep.
And so do our customers. We're not living outside of authenticity with what we believe ourselves.
Right.
So it's so much easier to never burn out, never get too tired. I mean, we all are going to have challenging weeks and days.
Especially right now, man. I feel like I'm burning out every day right now.
So it allows us to have so much more longevity on this road and go 100%. Really hard, really deep, and do it for a lot of years and not get burned out because we love it.
Yeah.
It brings me joy to wake up every day and do things like this, interact with cool mid-century homeowners.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling to walk into a cool house and be like, oh my gosh, or the stall house. I'm not sure if the
stall. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's for anyone listening and who doesn't know mid-century architecture, it's the most quintessential mid-century structure ever built, arguably. We know the homeowners. We know them well. They live here, actually. And so they've invited us to the stall house twice.
So cool.
And last February, I swam in the pool.
I was just going to ask
you can't do that.
No,
the general public is unable
I can't do that.
The general public is unable to do that.
Totally.
We had dinner with them in their house at the stall house, overlooking all of LA.
That's so rad.
And Hollywood.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you want to go swimming? And I was like, I don't have anything to wear, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did bring my swimsuit. But I mean, it opens up amazing opportunities like that when anyone in an entrepreneurial venture really, really focuses on your target market.
Yes.
Again, living outside of authenticity, if we can also speak to those other real estate agents, some of them, not all, what they're doing and what they're showing is incongruent with who they actually are.
Sure.
And I believe that is a giant value proposition for us, is because 0% of this is fake.
Yeah. What you see is absolutely what you're getting.
Yep.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Totally. Yeah, I mean that's what good marketing is, man.
Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And you get to love it.
Right, and that makes it even better if it's fun and what you enjoy.
Yeah.
For sure. So here in our neighborhood of Winstead Park, I have noticed lately there are a bunch of houses for sale right now.
It's been crazy.
It's been super crazy. Like with COVID and all this stuff, like selling my house or even thinking about moving, whatever, is literally the farthest thing from my mind. So it has just blown me away. Like how many houses I've seen for sale just in our neighborhood. Like why is that? Like why do you think that is?
Uncertainty does different things to different folks.
Sure.
I think having some uncertainty, there's a group out there who wants to offload what they have so that they can create the most net gain. And then there's other people who believe like, okay, well, I'm in this field. My job's totally secure. My partner's job, same thing. So it makes no sense to wait. And they all, like right now, could potentially be buying a house when otherwise they couldn't.
Yeah.
So there's just two sides to the coin, and uncertainty is definitely one, and certainty's the other.
Sure. Have you seen prices kind of hold, or like where's
they're
prices
still going?
Yeah.
It's normal Boise.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you something you probably won't like. On my phone, I have the Redfin app, which I know to realtors, that's for most realtors that's the kiss of death or whatever. Like don't use them. But it's a great app. It works really well. Like I can I use it. We talk about like moving to like a different city all the time right now. Like why do we live here? Like you just think about it. And so I have the app on my phone. I definitely don't look at it every day or even other day, every other day, maybe once a week if that. But I do see the alerts come up. And a bunch of them lately that I've noticed the last few days is like price decrease, price decrease, price decrease. Is that just because of which homes are on Redfin, do you think?
Okay, so honestly, like I don't look a ton at anything that's non-MidCentury.
Sure.
If it's built after like 1975, like it doesn't register.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff, it's just because I've looked at a specific area.
Yeah.
And so it's going to show me just anything. Like it's not showing me MidCentury or anything.
Yeah, just from any perspective, there are still instances where an agent will improperly price a home.
Sure.
That happens, or they were just kind of expecting something else. Who knows? Maybe they're new. There's so many variables when it comes to selling real estate. People think that it's just you put a price up, you throw a sign in the ground, and then just like pray, hope.
Sure.
Like that doesn't.
Or right now, like you can sell it for anything because people are going to buy it.
Because it seems that way.
To us outside of the direct real estate industry, it seems that way.
Yeah.
Like I can sell this for whatever I want right now.
Totally not real. Like there's a ton of back work, again, like the iceberg model.
Yep.
There's so many things that you have to do really well beneath the surface that if you don't do well, then you're going to have to price drop later.
Totally.
So that's okay. So again, from the niche marketing perspective, you could almost, and this is not just me, but anyone on the team, any of the 12 of us, just give us an address and we'll tell you what the max price that home should sell for.
Sure. And
we try to get there with everyone when we're on the seller side. But I mean, seriously, like I hit the MLS all day and just scroll, pretty much any of us could tell you how well a home is priced, and that's again because we're niche focused. Like we're snipers looking at areas rather than shotgun guys looking at comps from 3 miles away. Like no, I could tell you that the next door neighbor's
house in Banbury or whatever.
I could tell you the next door neighbor's house sold blah blah blah. Like I know the square footage of that. It's all in here. So we're kind of like human comp machines.
Yeah.
It's just really easy.
And you said there's 11,000?
11,000.
That's so crazy. Like on the one hand, I'm surprised that there are that many, but on the other hand, like that doesn't seem like very many at all. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to rationalize. Is that a lot? Is it not a lot?
Exactly. Yeah. Like how many total houses are in Boise? Do you know that?
Oh gosh, I don't have that number.
Yeah.
I can tell you this though. Denver has about 13 times the number of mid-century homes that we do.
And Denver is not 13 times the size of Boise, is it? I don't think it's 13
I think the
times.
metro.
It's 3 or 4.
Someone out there is going to know better. I'm going to say something wrong.
For sure. I definitely. I've been to Denver pretty recently, and I don't think it's 13 times the size.
What's
of
the
Boise.
population of Boise? Do you know?
The whole Treasure Valley is pushing 1 million at this point.
I probably not.
Denver's not 13. Yeah, Denver's not
I wouldn't
13
say so.
million. Yeah, it's 6 or.
Yeah,
I don't know. That doesn't even matter. But that's crazy. There's that many more. Like, is that just from back then? You know, in the 50s and the early 60s. You know, or even a little bit before, when homes were being designed, were the people that like that, you know, this type of architecture flocking more to Denver? Or like, why do you think that is? There's so many more there.
They had to have had a giant population boom after the war.
Sure.
That's really where all of the building started happening. Was, you know, the war ends.
Absolutely.
Everyone comes back home. Now all these people, you know, are returning to jobs. They're making more money. The cost of living was great then.
Yeah.
So, you know, one income home, you could buy a house on one income.
Totally.
Can't really do that today, or it's challenging.
I mean, yeah, it kind of depends on where you want to live.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that's really what happened. Is Boise had one as well. People came back from the war, got jobs, and they just had to start building a bunch of houses. So in the 50s and 60s, that's really what they did.
Interesting. Yeah. Remember the house? It was over by, I can't remember the junior high school, but it's one that I know TJ had
Edson
listed.
Street, yeah.
The one with that crazy roof. I want to say Phillips House, was that?
Yeah, the Phillips House on Edson Street, built by Art Troutner.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know you guys listed that and it's sold. Did the folks that, and I never heard anything after it sold. Are they doing stuff to it?
No,
do you know?
Nope. It's contractually in what they signed to buy the house, that any changes that they make have to be basically approved by I think it's the I can't recall who bought it, but it's a local entity.
Cool.
And so it's really under
Preservation Idaho.
I think it is Preservation Idaho. It's definitely going to be in a preserved state, not torn down, changed.
Build a big garage out front or something crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, that house. I remember. Yeah, that was that. When you guys had that listed, I went and we went and toured through that. That's a cool house.
Oh yeah, and for our company, I believe that was such a massive turning point. That gained us national exposure. We got on the cover of Atomic Ranch magazine with that home. Yeah,
on the cover of that magazine from that. That's
cover
awesome.
of the magazine.
That's crazy. I didn't realize.
I've got it. I can show you it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yeah, that's awesome. I totally didn't.
Yeah, so from there, it's really just been like, okay, this is what our company is able to achieve.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Let's just keep going.
That's awesome.
So from there, we've been in Atomic Ranch like maybe 3 or 4 more times.
Crazy.
Not the cover again. We will, for sure.
That's
but
so cool.
We've been in the New York Times as well, and we get featured like extremely consistently through social media by very large accounts.
That's killer. The folks that bought that, were they local Boise folks?
Oh gosh.
Do you remember?
I've met them. I want to say yes.
Cool. That's cool.
I think so.
That's super duper cool. Right on. So what else, man? So market's good. Things feel good.
Yeah,
everything's all good, man. New house.
Yeah, seriously.
Because you moved in and around the corner. What, 2 months ago?
Oh gosh, it was June 11th.
June. Okay.
Yeah. So what day is today? August.
It's August.
5th?
August something.
4th?
Yeah.
So it's been about a couple months. Oh
nice.
My gosh, I had a washing machine hose failed, major plumbing issues, and I need an arborist. So if you can come check out my trees, like.
Well, I'm not an arborist, but I know some guys that are.
I know you do.
I can hook you up with for sure.
They're huge trees.
Yeah, the joy of owning an old home, man. Yeah, there's always something.
Yeah, totally. So getting that stuff all figured out, because now again, like, we've got 4 people and 3 dogs living there when it was just one guy for 20 years. So like the pipes are they don't really know what's happening. So yeah, it's gonna take some effort, but that's, again, like, this is why I love it. Like, no matter what happens to that house, that is my house. I love that thing. I treasure it, and it's gonna be so cool.
Nice. What? So do you have some big plans for what you're gonna do to it?
On the facade, no, not really.
Yeah.
I like that it's in its really preserved state. It's all brick, so I'm not going to paint it.
Right.
I painted the front door.
How do you feel? Let's talk about that. How do you feel about painting brick?
I hate this conversation.
Yes or no?
It depends.
Yeah.
Honestly, some brick is so poorly taken care of that there's not a whole lot else you can do unless you want to spend a ton of money to clean it up.
Right.
Some brick is just really lame.
Right.
You know?
I did not paint this brick to be honest.
I wasn't going to judge you.
This it came like this when TJ helped us buy this house. Yeah. That's how it was. So I don't think I would have done it on my own, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't hate it.
I would say under most circumstances don't.
Yeah. I totally feel the same way.
If you unless you need to, do not.
Sure.
That's pretty much how I feel.
I totally feel the same way. And which is so funny because it seems like, in this neighborhood and other, kind of mid-century type neighborhoods, like it almost feels like people think they need to paint the brick to get that mid-century look and feel, which I totally don't think you have to do. Like, you don't have to do that.
No, well, you know how styles come back around?
Totally.
So now we're kind of, in this sort of mid-century revival, so people are modernizing mid-century feeling objects, and they're doing that with their house too, and that's sometimes through the expression of painting it.
Yeah.
And it does make it more modern, for sure.
Absolutely.
But it also kind of kills some of that mid-century,
the
original mid-century vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. There's been a few houses in this neighborhood recently that people have painted that we'll ride our bikes by, whatever, like, oh fuck no, they did that. No way. Ugh. Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Yeah. So if, like, for instance, if my house were painted, I would have just painted over it.
Totally. I repainted this house this spring, and the brick out front was already painted. So
I mean, I wouldn't have cried about it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. But sorry. But anyway, you talk about brick, and I had to ask you about brick. But yeah, everything's good, man. Houses are selling.
How about you? How's business? How's
business? Stackout Group is good, man. I mean, it's been a weird year for sure. First part of the first quarter, obviously, we were on a crazy trajectory, like we have been. So we've been in biz over 8 years now, and I mean, we've doubled growth almost every year we've been in biz, and we were on that same trajectory, just skyrocket, rocket to the moon or whatever this spring, and then COVID happened, and everything, like, for at least a few weeks, a month almost, like, literally stopped.
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of projects we were still working on, stuff we were finishing up, but not a lot of new stuff came in there for a minute. But the last couple months, like, it's not quite that same trajectory we were on, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got cool stuff coming in, residential projects, commercial stuff, development stuff, corporate stuff. Things are good, man. Things are real good.
That's great. How many years has it been now since you started?
Will and I started Stackout Group in 2012, so it's been just over 8 years.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been something.
Yeah. How many people are on board now?
So currently we started with literally just me and Will and I. With just literally working out of his spare bedroom at Avamore. We now have an office in Salt Lake, and we do projects all over the country. And I want to say total employee, there's 18 people right now.
Oh, awesome.
18 of us.
Yeah, that's a lot of people to manage.
It is, yeah. And it's funny when we started. The traditional architecture, engineering, whatever firm starts, because there's two friends, who are in a firm already that decide, we want to start, screw these guys, we want to start our own thing.
Yeah.
And so they go off with no real marketing understanding or business development understanding at all, and it takes them a long time to build their firm. When we started, we literally started with 50% overhead marketing me, because I'm not a landscape architect, and 50% operations. And so that's really, so we have a ton of projects we're working on, but my 100% focus is every day finding more cool stuff to work on.
Yeah.
And that's all I do. And that has helped us grow so fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I get to do what I'm good at and what I love, building a business, managing a business, marketing and learning and
totally.
Doing that stuff, doing the stuff that I love that I'm good at. And then Will and the design team get to do what they love and they're good at. And everybody wins. It's crazy. It's super crazy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for more, right?
No.
It's kind of weird in this kind of world that we're in, that you don't really know what's going to happen next week.
Nope.
You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Nope.
So it's sometimes it's a huge blessing to be in business for yourself, but at the same time,
totally.
it's a little hairy sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's super funny. Like, before I started my own biz, I've always known that entrepreneurship, having my own biz, was always my path.
Yeah.
I started working for a landscape contractor, a landscaper here in Boise when I was 15. So to be back in the landscape world, it was fine. I did that from the time I was 15 until I graduated from Boise State.
Cool. Yeah.
So I can't tell you how many thousands of irrigation, sprinkler systems I've installed, pavers. Tree holes, man, millions of tree holes I've dug on my own, So to be back in the landscape world is super funny for me. I never would, when I quit working there, when I graduated, and I worked for that dude a little bit after I graduated from Boise State, but I didn't think I would ever be back like in the landscape world. Like I'm on to better things, whatever. Yeah. And it all kind of comes full circle, which is funny. But,
yeah, that's hilarious.
But when I was thought about having my own biz, I always thought that, it'll just, it'll be easy, and I can just do my own thing all the time or whatever. It's so, I won't have the stress of working for the man or whatever. It's maybe not, it's a different kind of stress. I can't say it's more or less stressful, but it's a whole different kind of stress.
Yeah.
And especially now for me, I mean, with all the employees, who have families and all this stuff, like at the end of the day, it's my job to make sure they have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that weighs really, really heavily on me every single day.
I'm sure.
Every single day, man.
Yeah, I gave a presentation to some kids at BSU last year.
Nice.
And so I asked this kid, so it was an entrepreneurship class, and I asked this kid, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Yeah. What about it is appealing? And he goes, oh, the freedom, And I was like, it's, yeah, but not really. Like, so really, when you start this thing, you're married to it. Like
100%.
Everything goes out the window. Any chance you have to build the business, do it better, bring people on, you have to do. Otherwise,
absolutely,
you're not going to grow. You're not going to scale. You're eventually going to.
You probably won't even make a living.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to pay your bills next month. So, don't let that freedom thought really be the reason that you're trying to do something special.
It's especially at first.
Yeah.
Like for our business, more, we grow, we have more people and stuff. Yeah. I don't go to the office every day or whatever. Yeah. Like I don't have to, have to be in there at 8 a.m. or, stay till 5 or whatever. But if I'm not in there at 8, that's because I started working at 4 or 5, before my family's up and stuff. And especially now when, we're all just working from home for the most part. But yeah, it's there's no freedom.
No,
there's no vacation. There's no weekend. Somebody hits me. Somebody hits our, still to this day, 8 years in. If somebody hits our website and emails me like on a Saturday, hey, we're thinking about doing a cool landscape project. We don't know where to start or who to design it for us. When do you want to come look at it? Of course, I'm gonna pull my phone. Like, dude, how about now? What are you doing?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
On my way. Like,
yeah.
100%.
Same thing with houses. I have all my clients, like when a cool house lists and you like it, screenshot it, send it to me in a group text.
Yeah.
And like I immediately will trash whatever I'm doing for that day, and like we're gonna go see that house right now because the market's way too hot. You can't wait.
There's no wait until 9 a.m. on Monday. Yeah, there's no wait
that's
until
not
Monday.
Freedom either.
No.
But okay. So then on the other side of that, thankfully you love what you do, and I love what I do enough for that to not matter.
Yeah.
I don't need the freedom.
But I don't know. It kind of, I guess, depends on what your definition of freedom is. I don't have my boss telling me what to do.
Yeah.
So I do it because I want to, because I know I need to. Like that feels super free to me.
And it's important to you, your family, your business, and yourself.
So that
personally.
feels super free. Yeah. Having the corporate guy, whatever, call me from St. Louis, but hey, you need to go do this thing on Saturday. That's not free.
Oh.
But
yeah, get out of my life.
Did you ever work for like a big corporation?
No. I identified pretty young that I could never work for anything like that.
Yeah,
I just couldn't do it.
My first real job out of college was working for a massive corporation that ended up getting bought by another massive corporation. And so my job was I was a manufacturer sales rep for a power tool company. So American-made tools, power tools, table saws, circular saws, drills, that kind of stuff. My client was the Home Depot. So I called on nothing but Home Depots in Idaho, Utah, everything this side of Salt Lake City. So Logan, for one. I'm very familiar. I've got some hilarious stories about the Home Depot in Logan, Utah, and Alaska. So I spent a ton of time in Alaska. Dang. And so awesome job. There had been a bunch of, there were a bunch of people that worked for this company that had my same job all over the country that had been doing this job for like 30 years. Dudes loved it. The company took great care of them, at the time. It's still a family-owned, American-owned company. So I was there for a couple years and wasn't even thinking about leaving, hey, this is what I do now. Like, this is awesome. I've got all these, cool tools I can use, on my own. They gave me a truck and, I'm mid-20s or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
And thinking I've got it made. Like, I'll do this, I'll do this forever. And one day get an email with a plane ticket and like an itinerary that we had, they're bringing the entire U.S. sales force to Phoenix for a meeting. Cool, so we go. A bunch of people that I'd been on emails with and talk on the phone with and stuff I got to meet in person, which was super cool. Get into this at just some hotel, by the airport, go into this conference room, and corporate dude from Black & Decker comes out, lays us all off via PowerPoint presentation.
No way.
Here's the chart. If you've been here for this long, this is what your severance package is. Been here for this long, this is what your severance package is.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to take your credit cards right now before you leave. Here's where to send your tools. Here's where to send your trucks. Thanks. That was it.
Oh my gosh.
There were
zero compassion, right?
No, none. Zero compassion. Zero. To them, dude, we were numbers and
totally
completely expendable. Black & Decker, they had their whole like sales team that was just going to absorb what we were doing, and we, no matter how much, local knowledge, no matter what we knew, what we had, it didn't even matter. Just numbers on a sheet. Here we can cut these guys out. There were dudes that were 60 or older, had done this job for 30, 40 years, that were literally in tears because what the fuck am I going to do now? Like, nobody's going to hire me. I'm 62 years old. Like, I was like, yeah, that's no shit, man. That sucks. And it was at that point, sitting in the Phoenix airport talking with some of these guys, I was like, dude, I will never work for a big company ever again. No way. Not a chance.
Because you're treated as if you're just kind of you're a name
you're a number.
on a
you're a
spreadsheet
number.
somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. And nobody gives a shit about you. It was that was one of the most surreal. I still think about that sometimes, man. And that was just the crazy thing. I've got friends that are in sales and marketing stuff that work for big companies, and they talk about like, oh, we're doing this stuff and we're doing that. I'm like, dude, there's no we. Like, I get that you're identified like with that company, but they don't think of you as a we. Like, you're number 645, and if they can cut you and make more money for their shareholders, dude, they're gonna cut you. There's no we.
Yeah.
Like, so that just always hurts my stomach when, like I said, I've got friends that work for these big companies that talk about all the stuff we're doing or whatever. I'm like, no, there's no we. Dude, don't call them we.
Yeah.
Don't call them we.
So it's great to work for or work in, a small and growing company that really values people. So there's three things that need to qualify you to be able to get on our team. Number one, you need to be able to have fun.
Yep.
Number two, you got to love people. And number three, you have to love mid-century architecture. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't need sales experience. Don't need real estate.
You don't need a real estate license.
You don't even need to own a house. When I started, I didn't own a house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's it. We're just looking for core human values that's going to be able to allow us to have the best relationships possible with anyone.
Totally.
You need to be able to walk into an open house and just resonate with some people.
Sure.
You're not going to do that if you're just super salesy,
No.
like those guys.
No.
You can't do that.
And we've all been in those open houses, man. Like, nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Like, nobody likes that. Don't be that salesperson ever.
And let's not even go into open house. It's like maybe half the people are people that I'd want to work with.
Sure.
Some don't care about mid-century architecture. That's fine. We're not going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And then the other half, just from a personality perspective, I'm not going to get along the best with you. There's going to be a better agent for you. So those maybe 60% of people, I just you just go look at the house. You're going to find your agent out there.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah.
So we're super, super selective with who we work with.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that our business model allows for that.
Sure.
Because again, cold calling, all that stuff, we're not just looking to sell any house in Boise.
Right.
We just want the cool mid-century ones that cool people live in.
Totally. What's the coolest one, like the coolest house in Boise that you've been involved with buying or selling?
Oh gosh.
Like the coolest one? Because I'm sure there's been a bunch.
There's one I've done twice.
Really?
Yeah. It's
crazy.
I really like this house.
Yeah.
It's 101 South Franklin Park. It's actually pending right now.
Cool. That
one was way cool. I got it. Okay. The house on Glenwood Street? It's a cool mid-century house.
Right over here?
It's 4,000 square feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one right overlooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So my buyer bought that last October.
Nice.
That one was incredible.
That house is crazy. And driving by that thing, that's what? Half a mile from where we're sitting right now, maybe. Probably not even that. That is such an unassuming, crazy house because just the way that road comes.
It looks like it's maybe 1,300 square feet.
Seriously, it looks tiny. And a couple years ago, another real estate agent had it listed.
Yeah.
And who then called us because they were having a really hard time selling it. And so we had designed a bunch of landscape stuff for it. So they had something to show the homeowner here's what it can be because the view that for whatever reason they were and thank God they didn't. We did what they wanted us to do. But I'm glad they didn't build any of it because they didn't want, when you're in the house, they didn't want to see the road. They didn't want to see anything out in front of it. But that's what's cool about that house is the view of the mountains.
Yeah.
And the road's kind of close and you can see Fred Meyer or whatever if you look close. But they wanted walls and all this shit out front. And that's what we get paid to do is design stuff and show people stuff. So we did it. But but yeah, they had such a hard time selling that house. And I sort of get why, because like, I mean, I've lived here forever. Until they called us, I had never, I mean, I have driven up and down that road.
Oh yeah,
dude,
forever.
Thousands forever.
Oh, totally.
Thousands and thousands of times.
Going to the mall to go get some new clothes for school. Yeah.
And until I got that call to go look at it, I had never noticed that house. Just because it's on that corner, like it's kind of, you know, coming up the hill, you're going kind of fast. Yeah. You just don't really see it. And when I walked in the house, dude, I was blown away. I was like,
it's
dude,
crazy.
I'm buying this house.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I wanted to sell this house and buy that house. Like,
I don't know what state it was, was in when you saw it.
It was awesome. It was, I think it had just barely been renovated.
Okay.
Like the floors were new, if I remember right. Like it was all super new paint. Like a bunch of light fixtures and stuff were new. It was killer. Like it's an awesome house.
Oh yeah. So it's in a similar or the same state.
Yeah, cool.
And it's
this
super
was,
well loved.
I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, probably, something like that.
Yeah, it's that one was just, oh my gosh. You don't get a ton of opportunities like that.
No.
You know, to see it for one, and then number two, to actually have the client to bring into it, like that was just that was a blast.
Because when we were looking at that, it was a dude. So the dude that renovated it was like lived in Southern California, and it was I don't even think, because I talked to him on the phone once about kind of, you know, what he wanted to do or whatever. I don't think he'd ever even been here to see the house.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, which I think is maybe why they're having such a hard time selling it. But it was a dude like out of LA that was just trying to flip it or whatever. They kind of renovated it.
Oh yeah,
it was sort of what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, that thing came from like total disrepair.
Did it really?
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, if you look at it like maybe 10 years ago,
yeah,
find like the old listing, it's bad.
Really?
It's really bad.
Interesting.
Like the last 10 years of its life have really made that thing look great.
Yeah, that's a cool house, man. Yeah. The driveway's big. 2-car garage, right?
2-car.
Yep. Yeah, awesome.
The backyard is amazing.
Backyard is crazy.
The tree that grows through the deck.
Yeah. They built that whole deck like around that tree.
I'm so glad they did that. That stuff like that is just quintessential like mid-century focused architecture.
100%. Yeah, incorporating inside living with the outside.
Yeah, it's got cedar wood ceiling just off that.
Yep.
Huge master. I mean, that thing is like, I love it.
I'm trying to remember. Does that have a basement?
It does. It's,
okay.
It's kind of a partial unfinished type of situation.
Okay.
It's more or less for storage.
Yeah. How big is it? Do you remember?
It's like 4,044.
That's right. Yeah. Way bigger than it seems like it would be. For sure.
Totally.
Yeah. That front room though is so cool.
Oh yeah. That one is super amazing. She's loving it.
Awesome.
Could not be more happy that that's her house. And
is it a family that lives there, or just
Nope. One gal who just loves mid-century architecture. That's the people that we find. That's what makes it so fun. Is like, does living in a 4,000 square foot house by yourself? I mean, that's kind of irrational.
On its surface, no, that doesn't sound awesome.
Correct. So, but no, this house came up, and literally she was like, "That is my house. Like that's the one."
Nice.
And just through her love of that style and mid-century architecture and what that home offers, it just perfectly hit the mark for what she's looking for.
And that's the funny thing, and I know you've had way more of these conversations than I have with people about their homes, especially homes from this era. When I first walked into this house we're sitting in right now, when TJ called me, he's like, "Dude, you gotta look at this house. It just came up. You gotta, dude, what are you doing right now? You gotta look at this thing. You gotta look at it." So I left, hauled ass up here and met him and walked in, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, this is my house. Like this house is so similar to the house that my grandparents lived in when I was a kid."
Yeah.
And so when the way the basement is, like just like the way the whole, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty damn close. And I walked in and was like, "Yeah, this is my house, man. Like, what do we got to do?"
Let's
rock
and
we
roll.
made an offer like that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I walked in and it just felt right. I was like, "Yeah, dude."
Yeah.
Like I felt like I had like, we've been here for like not even 5 years now, 4.5, 5 years, I think. And like, I feel like I've lived my entire life here. Mm-hmm. It's just something about these old houses.
It's the mid-century feel is great. It's got just some, it's got a bunch of character. It's got some unique factors. There's no HOAs, so you can like paint your front door pink if you want.
Absolutely.
There's just the upside of living in a mid-century home is incredible when you actually start to look at it.
100%.
Have you guys done any landscaping? Because you're in the field, so
nothing. We haven't done anything crazy to this. We planned on some stuff, and I ripped a bunch of stuff out, just because it was way overplanted for what I like. So we took some stuff out, but this has been mostly maintenance. I put a bunch of new mulch and stuff in. Like all the curbing was already here. I've repaired the sprinklers a ton. This is it basically has a brand new sprinkler system now for the most part because I've replaced so much of it.
Yeah.
Just because it was old.
Just like one pipe at a time.
Totally. Yeah. Just,
for
yeah.
5
head
years.
by head. Yeah. Valve by valve. Pipe by pipe, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing substantial to it. But
Yeah.
just cleaning it up. Getting a little more orderly. The folks that live. So we are the second owners of this house.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. One family lived here and grew up here, and then they got old and
they bailed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Which is super crazy. Yeah. So it was it kind of had that. Old lady kind of overplanted look or whatever,
Yeah.
which maintenance wise I don't like, and it just everything was too full for me.
Yeah.
So that's really been it is just taking stuff out for the most part.
That's awesome.
We haven't done it. Yeah. Painted it. We're gonna remodel the kitchen and do some stuff. As money and time dictates, but that's been about what we've done. We haven't done a ton.
That's great.
Out back, I put up a bunch of shade sails and stuff, so we have more shade and stuff out there. But yeah, nothing real crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got plans for a pool to go in.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Yeah. Obviously, in the biz that I'm in, I've got a lot of friends who build pools and do stuff, and I'm gonna call some favors in here soon.
There we go.
So yeah, having a pool, especially right now when it's 100 degrees outside.
Gosh, I know.
Awesome.
I walk outside and I wish I find any body of water to jump into.
Yeah. A boat or a pool, especially right now, when we're just home all the time, a pool makes way more sense.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So that's gonna happen. There's a MidCentury house a couple blocks over here, really one block over on McKinney, that they put a pool in. And it's not, dude. It's a tiny pool.
Yeah.
It's super small. You probably know that, dude.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. They put a pool in a couple of years ago, and it's not even huge. And that's the thing with a pool. It doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah.
It just needs to be deep enough you can kind of jump in. Yeah. Big enough to have 4 or 5 people in, and with what we do, man. Yeah. So many people I have that conversation where people are like, oh yeah, we want a pool, but my yard's not big enough. Man, dude, your yard's plenty big, man. You're gonna have 20 people in this. You're gonna try to swim laps or whatever, like Olympic style laps. No, then exactly. Make it small. Make it fit.
It's a good thought.
Totally. Yeah. It doesn't have to be huge, even close. But yeah, man. So what else? What's next? So obviously hiring people.
Oh man,
growing. What's the next step for you? So you guys opened an office in Spokane, right?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
We got really close.
Okay.
TJ and I were there back in December of 19. It just went great. Met so many awesome people. We had a blast.
Spokane is a town that, in my opinion, gets a lot of kind of bad rap. I like Spokane.
Dude, I had so much fun. I was I could see myself moving.
I've got some good friends as well. I would totally live there too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought it was great. So we met a couple people. They were, ruminating around jumping onto the team and stuff, and then all this happened, so it's kind of plans just kind of fell flat.
Totally.
So, and that's totally fine. We're not trying to force growth ever.
Sure.
Even if we just kind of maintain what we're doing and just do it better, that's a win too.
Absolutely.
So we'll get there when we get there. We'll get to other cities when we get to other cities. We're definitely working on relationships all the time, mostly through Instagram and stuff like that. Just kind of whoever we see might be a good fit, we hop on the phone, chat it up, and really figure it out from there. But that's really the next step is, and that'll be wild.
Yeah.
Jumping into new cities will be just an incredible.
It's a fun thing, man. Yeah, we opened our office in Salt Lake, and every market. We do projects all over the country, and every market's different. The way business is done is similar but different. It's a fun thing to do for sure. You guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, so we're trying to stay local there too. We'd love if Spokane people could run that.
Yep.
Again, it's just about
you need to want that
right
local
people.
flavor.
Yeah.
Nobody want. Yeah. No. Especially like Salt Lake City is the type of market where we kind of showed up and hey, we're here, let's go. And people no, we don't want to talk to you at all. So we had to find some local people. We thought we could just roll in and just take over. Yeah. But it doesn't work that way. You gotta find some local people and kind of have that local flavor for sure.
Yeah, we'll see when we get there. Yeah. Excited, looking forward to that though. It'll be fun.
Right on. So are you guys still hiring more people here in Boise? Digital person, obviously. Maybe.
We're just still kind of growing as we need to.
Yeah.
It's always about personality fit, number one, and always. If we just can't find the right people, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I don't know where our ceiling is though. It's kind of weird because as we hire, we just keep going.
Yeah.
We're taking more and more market share. Last year, we had about 5%, I believe, of the MidCentury market in Boise.
That's it?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
not a ton. It's less than you'd think to be able to do well. I think and this is kind of a guesstimate, but it's probably going to be more like 15% is the cap. And that's to a point where like if I sell one more house, I'll physically like go insane, and no one else on the team is able to take on more responsibility, things like that. So it'll be what it'll be, and we'll get there when we get there. But I think that's kind of the point. And I don't know what that means exactly when it comes to the number of people on the team.
Sure. Dude, I'm so blown away by that 5% number. That is so much lower than I ever would have expected it to be. Well, which is great. I mean, that's obviously room for growth.
Oh yeah, totally. The upside's insane. But yeah, even like the number one team in Boise, I'm pretty sure they even have like a 7% market share, or if that.
That's super interesting. I mean, clearly I'm not like in the real estate world or whatever, but man, that just blows me away. Is that what drives that? I mean, everybody's a realtor or whatever. Like, is that just because there's just so many realtors out there, or are there just that many deals getting done all day, every day?
Mix of both.
Yeah.
There's I think like 8,000 or something agents in Boise, which is like that's a ton.
That's
considering our population.
Crazy number, yeah.
So there's that definitely.
Are there more realtors per capita in Boise than other markets?
I don't have that answer.
Interesting.
But I would say
that'd be interesting to know. Yeah.
I'd say probably here, and I've heard Denver actually too has like just an astronomical amount.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
Because the market's hot. That's where houses are selling, and like, you know, someone's uncle's like, oh, I'm just gonna go.
Not a lot of realtors in East Cleveland.
Yeah, and then it's like everyone's uncle just goes, oh, I'm going to get my license. It's going to be super easy. And then they figure out like, oh, this actually like takes a ton of skill.
It's actually way harder than I thought this was
going
to be.
It's not just about writing contracts and just throwing it into emails.
That's super interesting. So I remember last time I was talking to TJ, you guys, you know, because you guys have Jessica in-house. Do you guys have like a construction component yet where you're actually like physically doing the remodels, or is it just design still?
No, just design.
Yeah.
That's that may be another arm of the model. In the future.
I remember talking with TJ that was something he was kind of, you know, ruminating on or whatever, thinking about.
Yeah. So he remodeled with Jessica the home on Holiday. If you remember that one, it had a pink door. It was really cool.
I don't know.
So they did that one. In that project, I think it felt extremely overwhelming.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just more than they could chew at that time.
That's a whole different animal. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
Dude,
but
totally.
again, I haven't done it, so maybe I just haven't got my feet wet yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's kind of the thing. Like trying to do that while you're doing other stuff is super hard. I mean, if you were just focused on, you know, just the construction part, you know, that might be more doable. But but trying to still do deals and do everything else, like, you know, just like anything, you know, one person can only do so much. Yeah.
No, I think that'd be a super fun thing to pull off. You know, take a house that's underappreciated mid-century, change some stuff out that needs it, keep the originality as much as possible, and then sell it to people who are going to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That seems. Yeah. I mean, that seems like a good. So with it kind of makes me think like, so with the 11,000 houses that are out there, and you probably don't know this number, but I'm just thinking about it. Like, how many of those 11,000 like are in need of remodel? Do you think?
Oh, in need of remodel?
Yeah.
How heavy? I mean, I would say probably 30%, 35%.
A bunch of them
in need of some aspect of remodel. And then, you know, another like 40% don't need much.
Yeah.
And then the remaining is potentially tear down or extreme remodel.
Yeah, full renovation.
Yeah, something that like an actual entity would have to do and not like people.
Sure.
Most likely.
Yeah, interesting. Nothing but opportunity out there, man.
So last year, 650 approximately sold. So another question, being a niche market, like in the worst of times, how many opportunities is that?
Sure.
In 2012, there were still 350 that sold. So if you double that, because there's a buy side and a sell side, that's 700 total opportunities. So I mean, that's 2 a day, essentially.
Yeah. Crazy. Good
so
for you guys, man.
Even in the worst of market conditions that we've seen recently, there's still plenty of opportunity to make it, still do well, still have business growth. So we'll be able to weather the storm.
That's awesome.
We're now old enough that if there was a big storm to come, I really believe that our company would be able to hang on just fine, and we'd all still survive and do well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I know even on the commercial side, even when the economy is bad, deals are still getting done, stuff's getting traded around. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of it.
Yeah, it's you just got to redirect and change your focus a little bit, there's still going to be people buying. You just got to find them.
Sure.
It's going to be more investors at that point.
Absolutely.
Rather than right now we're looking at, long-time home buyers. I'm going to live in this thing and die in this thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just a change of perspective on who's buying.
Interesting. Well, cool, man. It's after 3, and I'm kind of up against some stuff. So
cool.
Vance, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate the conversation, and we'll have to do this again sometime in the not too distant future.
I'm ready whenever.
Okay, killer, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, guys.
Bye, buddy.